6, I believe, get us into the get us those records in under each of those rules. I just want to address the relevancy issue. I think this is clearly a case about either it's a murder or it's a suicide. It's just as simple as that. And these records are from August 19th to November 2000. August 2019 to November 2019, the time period in between Joey's suicide and Emily's remains being found. Joey's suicide is directly relevant and dispositive of the issue, given that he was found in a very similar way, hanging in a wooded area. Your Honor, I also think they're relevant with respect to rebut Amy Thomas's testimony, which is that Emily only went to counseling as a result of a condition of FMLA, which is not accurate. The medical records speak for themselves as to why she sought counseling in August of 2019. Last thing I have something to say about
that.
Yeah. Emily was going to part of FMLA. Getting FMLA is you have to go see a therapist.
Yeah.
And she was getting it so she can take time off of work for me. But I mean, you have to. She went in because of Joey's suicide. Okay, now go to a therapist, talk to a therapist, and then get granted your FMLA. While she's at therapy because of what happened to Joey, had nothing to do with her childhood trauma. Nothing. She immediately starts talking about her being raped repeatedly as a child. It's in the therapy records. I have them. Read them. She's not. And then another thing. They'll say what was more relevant. Grubbs will say that the lead detective will say Emily was going to therapy because she was concerned. What was most telling about the therapy records? This is on fucking TV. This fucking asshole gets on TV and said, well, what's the most telling thing about those therapy records? The most telling thing to Grubbs was that she was concerned about me committing suicide. She mentions me a couple times. I'm worried about my husband. But you know what she mentions more than a couple times? Her being raped as a kid repeatedly. It's all over the records. But Grubbs will go on TV and they don't want anything to do with that. I don't know if it's tunnel vision that they get or they're stupid. I'm not sure. Or they're lying to you. That would be a lie. What's the most telling thing about Emily's therapy records, which I have, which I'll show you, that I'll put online. You read them, and if the first thing out of your mouth is, she was concerned about her husband being suicidal after her son dies. No, it's the rape, right? That's okay. You can speak your mind on this show. I mean, don't rape's not like a bad word out there, is it? I mean, I can't even.
You have to say great.
I mean, at trial, you're trying to prove that she's not suicidal. Do you want therapy records coming in that repeatedly talk about being raped as a kid? But that's not the reason you're talking to the therapist in the first place. It's about Joey's suicide. I don't know if these things are like what you want to know, or because you have to be kind of intimate with the story before you're going to even understand that, right? She's there talking about, she's reaching out to us, the world, screaming at us. And this is just a part of it. Her going to a therapist and talking to a therapist about her abuse when she was a kid. And we all just I'm going to cry. We didn't pay attention. We didn't pay attention. And
a lot of people don't.
Screaming at all of us. Her friends, you can hear it in her friends, their tone. But you got a sister that said, I know Emily wasn't suicidal because when I asked her if she was going to kill herself, she said no. Who would ask something like that unless you knew she was suicidal? We don't have to be, we're not fucking brilliant people out here. This is obvious shit. And police, investigators, they didn't want anything to do with any of that. Now, it's either because they get tunnel vision and they don't want to, it's my contention that they don't care what the truth is. They're just trying to close a case. And that's anti-closing a case. If you're trying to say this woman wasn't suicidal and she was committed suicide, you want all that evidence not to go into trial, right?
Of course.
It's not, you don't have to be a genius to figure all this out. Law enforcement lied. They fucking lied to you. They're lying to you through this whole thing. Anybody that's going to say that these therapist records aren't relevant, and that's what this Schiffer lady right here is trying to tell you through case law, trying to keep this shit out because it doesn't matter what it says in the therapy records anyway, is fucking lying to you. She's a lawyer. She's not that stupid. She gets what she's doing.
Yeah.